Stand up for freedom. Those bad guys took away the freedom of Hungary and Poland and Czechoslovakia. They're sitting on it. It's a suppressed area. They've taken away Armenian freedom. You have to stand up. We're Americans. We believe in freedom. We believe in justice. And, you know, I made a copy of a beautiful document. And just let me read 2 sentences from it. We hold these truths self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to abolish it and to alter it. It is their right, it is their duty to throw off that government and provide new guards for future security and freedom of the people. Now you could say that an Armenian wrote this. I was going to start by saying an Armenian wrote this, and it's one of our ANC sponsors who did it. But I mean, it's actually the preamble to the Declaration of Independence of the United States. It is the basic guiding philosophy that brought about the Declaration of the United States. And in it, you know, when you look at the Declaration of the United States, it said, we tried all these means, and they talked about the peaceful means they tried to change the British government's attitudes towards them. And they list all their failures. We did this, we demonstrated, we did this, we did this, we did that. And finally, as a last resort, they declared their freedom. Now to us that was very special. You know, we're in Cleveland. Wow, you know, that makes sense. Now we want that same thing for our people. We want to go that way, you know. And you said, while it meant so much to it, the other quotes started coming up. You know, as we took American history, Abraham Lincoln, Gettysburg Address, the war between the states for freedom of the slaves, and you have Lincoln speaking at Gettysburg, the greatest battle of the Civil War, where so many Americans died, killing Americans. And he looked and he made the speech, a beautiful speech, the Gettysburg Address. You have to study it. But one line in there rings and rang to me as an Armenian. And he said, these men have not died in vain. And that related to me. I related that to the Armenian people. I related that to the genocide. They haven't died in vain. Because if they died and we don't make a change, just like in Gettysburg, if we didn't give freedom after that battle, or at least attempt to it, those people died in vain. It was the same thing with us. The genocide, if we didn't follow up with high tide, if we didn't follow up as Armenians, helping our people, helping our nation, they died in vain. And then when JFK got up and he made the speech, when he was first, I think it was his inauguration speech, and he made the speech that said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Man, this grabbed us. It grabbed me as an Armenian. I don't want anything from them. I'm going to move it. I'm going to make it better as an American. And you believe that. These were the things that we grew up with believing. And, you know, it went on and on. I mean, you studied American history and the Revolution. And you have Patrick Henry. And you guys remember what Patrick Henry said? He was a representative from Virginia to the Declaration of Independence conference where they were drawing it up. He turned around and he says, I know not what path others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Because they knew signing the Declaration of Independence that they were going to go on the most wanted list for England. And they were going to be open to assassination. Yet he said, give me liberty or give me death. And these things rang to us as young Armenians. And I mean, it's over and over again. There's so many of these quotes. I mean, when John Paul Jones was an admiral in the American Navy, and he was in 1812, and he's surrounded by British ships in the Great Lakes. I think it was Lake Superior, and he's surrounded, and the boat is damaged and it's sinking, and the British are sending emissaries that are saying, retire, stop the fighting, we give you safe passage. And he's there, and he brings his men around him, and he tells his men, this is what they're saying, they want us to surrender. And he says, my answer, and the British admiral is standing there, my answer is, I have not yet begun to fight. And his ship is sinking. I mean, it's crazy. But this type of nationalism, this type of belief in nationhood, these are the roots of what America should be, what America was, and was established on. But see, as we kept on going, you know, we were surrounded by the current events of the 60s and the 70s. All of a sudden, we saw America in Vietnam. And we were opposed to the war in Vietnam, and we started protesting the war. I mean, stop and think about it, what was going on in the 60s. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I don't know if you can even, it was a different world than anything that you've seen today. These were the people that made us believe that we could do something. And so now we are all fired up. We're kids all over the country like this, 1, 2, 3 in every different city. And we said, look at Armenians. I'm telling my dad, look at, it's time. When are we going to get out of the churches? All you do is go there on April 24th and pray, and you have all the Armenians come, and everybody sings a song, has a recitation, and everybody applauds, everybody gives a couple bucks, and then we go home, and nobody writes about it, nobody talks about it, there's no media, no television, no radio, I mean, nothing anywhere. I mean, we, young guys from the AYF, we're from different cities. I mean, we talked about Charles Gary. In the PLO, we had a Detroit connection. One of our guys became a lawyer. And he became a lawyer for the PLO in Detroit. And so we had these things going on. And as you stop and you try to put it together, I say, well, what made me believe? And I think it was because I was growing up with that American dream. I thought it was righteous. I thought the Declaration of Independence was something really important in my life as an American. I thought the Bill of Rights was something I would love for my people who at that time were under Russian domination. It made me want freedom all the more. It made me dream about doing something. That much so, I've told a couple of you that in 1963, I was a senior in high school, I think, yeah. No, I was a junior in high school. We had gone to an AYF convention, and there was another guy in Detroit, and another guy in Washington, another guy in New York, and one guy in Boston. And we said, look, at this April 24th, screw it, man, let's go and we demonstrate. And we all drove and hitchhiked to New York City. And the 5 of us demonstrated in front of the Turkish embassy. Never had been done in the United States before. I mean, ironically, at that time, the Armenian organizations were so conservative, I mean, be it Hinchakyan, Ramgavar, Dashnatsagan, AGBU, that all 5 of us were punished. And we were put out for 6 months. And the line that they told us, Sevamort Nenadigan, make honey, make chicken make ugly person, make ugly loving. What are you talking about? 7 more things, man. We don't have our freedom. They don't give us our damn history. They deny a genocide. What the are you talking about? We're just as black as they are. I mean, come on, man. I mean, but this is what was going on, and this is what we were faced with. This is what we were faced with. This was that group of young guys doing these things. So we did that in 63. 64, we as an AYF, we tried to bring the whole convention, was going to be in Washington, D.C. We tried to have a meeting with the State Department. We called congressmen and said, can you arrange it? And the State Department had agreed to have a meeting with us, 1964. We bring, at that time there was only one AYF. It included Canada, California, and the East Coast. It was all one region. And you got all of these kids there. We had 92, 95 kids there. We're all made a special trip to Washington for this. I mean, we're pumped. First time, we're going to talk to the State Department. We can ask about the genocide. We can ask about Armenian freedom. We can ask about policy. This is big. We're all there. We get there, it's supposed to be 9 o'clock in the morning. And they say, well, we wait here outside by the door. I don't know if you know the State Department, the big double doors, and then a desk. They say, can you wait outside over here? So we wait. Half hour goes by, we go in, we say, well, you know, we're supposed to meet at 9 o'clock. They say, well, they're not ready for you yet. Can you wait? We wait. 10 o'clock comes, we go in, they tell us the same thing. 10:30, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock finally. Some little old lady secretary. Somebody's really, I'm talking about secretary, you know, she sits at types, not Secretary of State or anything like this. I'm talking, you know, a file clerk comes down and says, I'm from the State Department. We can't meet with you. We don't know why you're coming here with the genocide issue. There was no genocide. We can't talk to you about the Armenian government. You're not a government, you're not a lobbying group, and we can't do anything about it. And a long story like this, give us a piece of paper. Now, that couple of guys that was all over the country, that we were the crazy ones and we were trying to do different things, all of a sudden there were 95 young Armenians that from all over the country that were really, really off. You know what I mean? They were really, really pissed off that we came here. They promised us this meeting. We can't even have a meeting. All of a sudden, the AYF started becoming more active, more activist, saying we have to do something. You're the college students. You're the ones that go on and be doctors and lawyers and leaders, politicians. Who knows where you're going to be? The sky is the limit. But you owe something. You owe something. I mean, you could turn around and be like any other American. You go into college, you make a buck, and you go out, okay, now you're an American with an IAN last name. But you're not Armenian. Unless you've done something for your people, for your nation, you're not Armenian in my book. You got to do something for your nation, your people. Those people could not have died in vain. You owe it to them to remember your history, to remember your parents, your grandparents, your family, your history. You owe it to America to spread these ideals of freedom and independence and democracy and changing a government if it's corrupt. You owe that to the American people to spread that to the Armenian nation, to the Armenian people. I mean, why be a simple American when you have all these gifts? When much is given to you, much is expected of you. You have to give back. You have to give back. I mean, when I was on that sabbatical, somebody sent me this. And I made a copy. And it really is something. It's a speech that Teddy Roosevelt gave. Teddy Roosevelt, not Franklin Roosevelt. And this speech, ironically, was given on April 23rd, one day before our Memorial Day, back in 1910 in Paris. And he made this speech. And maybe you've heard it, it's rather famous. It's like 5 paragraphs. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong men have stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, great devotions, great convictions, who spends himself on worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end of high achievement, the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails daring greatly to do something, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or know defeat. My friends, my brothers and sisters, my children, because I look at you all as my children, I've been in that dusty arena for a long time. I've been bloodied, I've been beaten, I've suffered great success and great failure. I'm here to tell you that I need you. It's not someone in Washington needs you, not someone here in the church needs you. I need you. I need you to come into the battlefield with me. I need you to fight with me. I need you to take my place. I need you to carry the Armenian flag, carry the Armenian nation. Give them your minds, this training that you're getting. Take us to the next level. Do some of the things that Alan was talking about with his media thing. Do some of the things that they were talking about in the other lectures. Do something with it. Don't just be an American. Don't just be a social animal. Have fun. Do your stuff. But damn it, be Armenian. Save our nation. Save our people. Marry an Armenian. Raise your kids Armenian. We owe this. You owe it. I'm tired. I'm bloody and I'm beaten. I need your help. Come join in. Join us, man. Your conviction is there. I know it. You wouldn't be here without that conviction. You've given up your weekend. You have it. It's in your soul. If you want it or not, if you've tried it or not, you have it. Let it come out. Let it come out. Blossom. We're waiting for you. There's thousands of us all over the world waiting for you. Take us to the next level. Help us. You got any questions? I'm ready for discussion.